Hi everyone. I'm doing this as a quick video post, and it's going to be a public post. It's the same basic information as in my previous post about what's coming up during February, but I thought I might do it in video as well and make it publicly available so that people could see me and listen to me and judge me. I have been going through a very difficult time financially lately. A couple of jobs that I expected to start in January and February have been postponed. I was actually in the running for another full-time job. I had finally decided to look beyond, well, not finally, but I was looking beyond my freelance career, and I don't know what happened there. They were high on me. I went through three interviews and then nothing. Information pretty much vanished completely at that point. And I'm hurting. There's a lot of expenses. Car expenses have popped up, and a lot of stuff has been changing that has made it very difficult for me to sort of figure out how to get through the month and how to get through the year, basically. I'm not starting regular work again until March 6th, which is insane, quite frankly. That said, I wanted to hit you to a couple things that are going on. Next week, I begin a set of responsibilities as the poetry program director of the Shauna Shea Foundation, or the Shauna Foundation, I should say, in concert with the Mass Cultural Council and the Milford Council for the Arts. We will be, and we are presenting a series of poetry readings down south of here in the towns of Milford and Uxbridge, hopefully adding some others as time goes on. Next week, we'll be the first one on February 8th will be with Robin Boucher, who happens to also be from my hometown, at the public library, and we're looking forward to that. I'm also getting ready. You just finished the first workshop of a number that I'm planning to do as Zoom workshops. Some will be private to Patreon, some will be open to the public, but they will be starting up again, I think, in March. I don't think I'm going to do one in February. I think I'm going to do one of my interviews in February. I have a poet in mind. I have to get in touch with them and see if they're available. And if they're available, then we're going to do another one of my Something Borrowed, Something Blue interview segments that'll be available to Patreon folks, and only to Patreon folks. And, the usual array of ebooks and craft lectures. I just put out a file here that you could download if you wanted of a recent music and poetry piece called Out West. I'm really working hard to try and make Patreon and my poetic endeavors be more of a stream of income. I have a couple of other options, but the freelancing has just gotten really old and really tired. And while I love doing freelance work and having my time to myself, I have too much time to myself lately, and that gets to me after a while, and it's not fair to anybody around me. So that I'm constantly looking for money. I bring you all this because I'm constantly looking for money. I would love for people who maybe have followed this to watch it and consider contributing even $1 a month. The tiers are all available on the Patreon site. I'd love to have people who are willing to do a year's deposit on their year at a time. You get a discount for doing that, and I'd love to see people at the $10 level and up, because that's where the perks really start to kick in. Not that there aren't ones if you're at lower levels, but that's really where stuff really starts to kick up, and you can look at that on the tiers. But mostly I want to expand this so that it becomes a more steady source of reliable, consistent income. I never expected in my life to make a living as a poet. I never did. That's why I've always had other career interests, and for many years had very significant career interests. But I'm reaching the point where that is not enough. I'm going to be 63 in about a month. And I'm looking at my life and I'm saying I cannot afford to live on the edge a hell of a lot longer, which is one of the reasons I've applied for a variety of full-time and part-time jobs totally unrelated to this, just to bring some more money into the household. I would love to see you as a member of my Patreon, because I think that's where I give the most bang for the buck and where I offer the most bang for the buck. But in general, I would love to see you as friends, as lovers of poetry, as people interested in the craft, I'd love to hear from you, and in general, this video is sort of a plea to bring you into the fold. And yeah, there's a money aspect behind it, but at the same time, I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. A lot of artists have been told that that's the grubbing part or the hustle part is not as important. I have learned to my detriment that that is not necessarily true. So I'm going to close it out, and I hope to see you joining the Patreon if you haven't already. If you want to up your pledge, that would be great too. The Patreon site itself, here, go to my homepage, it'll give you all kinds of options for joining, and in general, I want to thank you all for your attention to me and my efforts. Onward!